Beers and Banter, episode 11. We're back at it. Timmy in the studio. Tonight we've got Origin, AFL, the Jaffa, and we might even finish with a science update with Timmy. Welcome, episode 11. Righto, let's get into it.
Big Red.
Massive weekend.
It was, mate. Plenty of sport on.
Yeah. Struggling to keep across it all.
Yeah, there's a bit happening. So we're getting into the middle part of AFL, NRL.
Was a bit quiet over the weekend, though. Only 4 games at NRL. There's a lot of talk today about whether or not it's just worth shutting it down for a week, play the rep footy, and then get back into it.
Yeah, I mean, it's a bit disappointing. There's only, 4 games? A lot of teams get decimated. Probably the standout one was Canberra. I mean, they had injuries and Origin representatives and still managed to get a win over the Bulldogs. But
Playing the Bulldogs.
I mean, typically in years gone past that, the Broncos in particular have always struggled through the Origin period, having a lot of players away. Obviously, the Roosters have probably got a few in this year.
It's a bit more spread out these days.
Yeah, it is. But yeah, I mean, you couldn't have a weekend without footy, could you?
Titans struggled without Joy Arrow.
Yeah, that was probably the difference, wasn't it? No, we probably shouldn't talk too much about the Titans this week.
We got a bloke wants to call in and give us some shit about
Cowboys
that.
supporter.
Yeah, Pistol Pete from On the Ranch. So we'll see if we can get him on the phone. Yeah, I don't know. Where to from here?
Well, we keep saying it every week. We're just there's some serious issues there.
Oh, here we go. Hopefully he answers.
Hello, Pete speaking.
Oh, is that Pistol Pete from
Pistol.
On the Ranch?
Hey, boys, what's happened?
You sound a bit chirpy, mate.
Look, it's just been a really good weekend, Brisbane Lions had a win, was out in the towers celebrating the mate's engagement party, and then something happened at around 6 p.m. yesterday with a faulty try-saving tackle.
JT never got that ball down. I'll just say it right now. Should have been 4-0 to the Titans, final score.
Big Red, 100% Tamalolo got that ball down.
Coming from a true Cowboy supporter.
Never call this podcast again. Well, it was a bit of a battle. Cowboys have kept their season on track. Titans have seemed to be, they're pretty much done and dusted, but we're playing for pride now, and I don't know, it's not looking good. Someone said to me the Titans will not win 10 games this year, and I laughed at them, and now we could struggle to get there.
Yeah, you never know, Red. Titans, look, they're not having the greatest season compared to living up to what their hype was at the start of the year. But, I mean, look at the Cowboys. A few weeks ago, we'd only had 2 wins against our name, and now with the bye to come, we're actually sitting equal 4th. So, you had a bit of a turn around the corner last week with Manly, and look, if Ash Taylor or Tyrone Roberts could kick straight, you would have won that game. So
very true. And then the $1 million player didn't even step up to the plate. He missed one kick and then went off the ball completely, and then didn't even want to know about that the match equaling kick straight to Tyrone.
Yeah.
He should probably be splitting his paycheck with him as well.
When your confidence is a bit down, I mean, it just goes to show. I suppose he just needs to turn the corner. I don't know what the answer is for Ash Taylor. He's too good of a player to be in the slump he's in, but maybe a week or 2 in Q Cup and refresh him.
Oh, what concerns me is the coach good enough coach to get the best out of Ash?
They've thrown it at him a year or 2 ago to build a club around him, and he's been touted ever since he was 16 years old as the next Aaron Lockyer or the next Jonathan Thurston or the next Andrew John, so to speak. And look, maybe he's read into his own hype and believes it without actually doing the hard yards and just going off talent. You look at someone like Damien Cook, who has fought tooth and nail to get to where he is and doesn't take anything for granted. So maybe a few hard lessons for Ash, and he could bounce back. I mean, he's got all the potential and skill. It took a while for Michael Morgan to get to where he is, and look at him go now. So
Thing
I
couldn't.
don't think your team is too far off the pace. A couple of wins here or there, and it builds a bit of confidence. And before you know it, you win 5 straight, and a few other teams lose. And I wouldn't be writing the Titans out just yet. I reckon you're a chance at scraping into that 8th position come finals time.
Love
but
your
there's got to
positivity,
be a bit
Pete.
of work to go into it.
Love your
Turn him
positivity.
down, Timmy. We can't get a word in on our own show. What's going on here?
Oh yeah, the only thing that the thing that I couldn't cop yesterday, Pistol, was the game plan from the Titans and taking nothing away from the Cowboys because they were a couple of men down and manned up in the second half. But we time after time we would complete the set and just kick for touch.
Cowboys had a few forwards that missed out on Origin selection too that I think were out there to prove a point. You know,
Yeah, I mean, no, that's what I say. They manned up in the second half, but our game plan, when we look like we're getting on top of the Cowboys, we just continually kick for touch and try and reset.
I was scratching my head watching those Mitch Rain decisions out of dummy half, and you're 30 metres out or 40 metres out from the try line, and just 10-metre kick into touch. Like, mate, why aren't you roosting this up and making us come out of our own corners or trying to attack? It was very similar to the Broncos-Cowboys 2015 grand final with about 20 to go. The Broncos didn't want to know about anything. They just kept kicking the touch, and we all know what happened.
Yeah,
Full time in that
it
game.
looked like it was a clear game plan yesterday, and I was just scratching my head thinking, what are we doing
So
here?
if the kicks aren't the right kick, there's either one or two things. The coaches set the game plan and it's the wrong plan, or the players aren't following the coach's game plan and therefore he's lost the dressing room.
Yeah, and
Here's Big Red on the burst this week. My hot tip, if they haven't won many games after Origin, he'll be gone and Kevy will be the coach of the Gold Coast Titans.
Wow, that's
Big
a
call.
call.
You heard it here first.
You reckon Kevy would leave the Maroons to the Titans? I think he's still got another year or two on his contract.
Full-time coaching gig. I think we'll swing him across. He wanted that job. He would have had that job, except he was holding out for the Broncos and they shafted him. So,
and they shafted him, yeah.
Hey Pete, thanks very much for giving us a call. Much appreciated. So, all the people on the airwaves, this is Pistol Pete from the On the Ranch podcast. So give him a listen. Thanks for joining us, Pete, and we'll catch up with you again soon.
On your Pistol.
No worries, and just while I've got you, boys.
Here we go. Dump him before he says something.
No. I always tune in and listen to you guys when you post it on the Tuesday morning. So I haven't missed an episode yet. I just want to say you're doing a pretty good job as well. So
thanks for that, Pete.
It's a bit of fun, and you get the message across. And take care, boys. Have a good one.
Thanks,
we'll talk
mate.
soon.
All the best,
Pistol.
bud. Cheers.
Tuesday.
Yeah, so just on that game plan yesterday from the Titans, like when Ash Taylor was in form or any halfback is in form and full of confidence, you don't keep doing the same thing that's not working. You change it up during the game. And for me, Ash Taylor just hasn't taken control of that team. And
there was some glimpses of hope there. He started running the ball.
he did.
And taking the tackle, which is good, but then he didn't follow it up with like anything else.
Yeah.
So I thought we looked our best at the very start of the game. Peachy off the bench. What concerns me is once Peachy comes off the bench, there's too many cooks. He should be coming on, playing a utility role, taking a hit up, tackling. I think it confuses the team, and now there's 3 halves, 4 halves. Then Cartwright comes on and wants to play like a half instead of a second rower. There's too many cooks. They're spoiling it.
Anyway, that's enough on the Titans.
Yeah,
surely.
righto.
Doing my head in.
There wasn't much else NRL to talk about on the weekend. Origin.
Penrith got another win.
That pushes the Titans really into the battle for the spoon, unfortunately.
Yeah, look, I think it's a 2-horse race now, us and the Dogs. I mean, both sides at the start of the year would have had expectations for probably bottom half of the top 8, I would have thought. And both teams have been disappointing.
What about Kevy? All the bobbleheads on the telly are getting into Kevy about his positive attitude. I love it. I think it's good that we finally come out and said we are going to win.
Yeah, he's definitely full of confidence.
So they're talking about this coach whisperer that apparently they didn't clear with the QRL accountant, cost $5,000 an hour, and he's been mentoring Kevy.
Is that going to be the difference?
He mentored Michael Maguire in 2014 and also Trent Robinson last year. So Kevy's brought him in for this new positive mindset. But
well, we'll find out in about 48 hours. I actually think as times originally I wasn't that confident in Queensland, but as we got close to the game, and I think with the draw too, being game 1 in Brisbane, then we go to Perth, which is a neutral ground.
Yep.
I can see a bit of light for Queensland.
What about this? I want a bit of a social media shout out. Let us know if you want to hear an alternate commentary on Wednesday night. If there's enough interest, I'll put together some sort of live video feed. And people like me, so I pay good money so that I get Foxtel and don't have to listen to certain people at Channel 9. Origin time, you don't get a choice.
You're going to do the commentary?
I'll do the commentary.
I bet you get a massive response there.
Well, let us know online.
Phones are going berserk over there, Tim.
They are, yeah, mate. I'm having to. If you can just save it, if you can't get through right now because it is running hot, just bear in there. Maybe shoot an email through or
You're a pair of peanuts. This show's not live.
What about? I got a little message popped up on my phone this afternoon from the news, the app on my phone. Apparently, there's a video just been leaked of a player in a sexual act that someone's leaked just obviously 2 days before Origin to stir a bit of shit. So no idea who it is. It's only just been released.
Has he got his on? That's the question.
Don't know. I don't know a whole lot about it. It's only just sort of come to news. It's just been released. There's a few media sources have already picked it up today. But yeah,
Do you know we could play the video? Could you find it? No.
I didn't get sent it.
Wow. Well, so that'll explain.
So we'll see what happens
24
there.
hours.
Yeah.
Righto. Onto the AFL.
AFL, yeah, it was a pretty good weekend of AFL. A bit of news this afternoon before we get to the games, but Carlton have sacked their coach today. So Brendan Bolton, I think he's still had a year and a bit to run on his contract. So
it's the right time of the year for sacking coaches, though, too, right? So if you've really struggled in the first 10 or 11 weeks,
I mean, you read between the lines, and obviously Brad Scott's just become available after North Melbourne, and he parted ways last week.
Yeah.
I've heard a few whispers that maybe they've been talking to Brad the last couple of weeks, so don't know if there's any truth to that, but it may be just coincidence. But yeah, I think clubs like to do it, especially if they've got a potential interim coach that's already at the club.
Yeah.
Like North Melbourne are doing with Reece Shaw, they'll give him sort of 8, 9, 10 weeks to, I guess, see what he can do.
Sometimes it just gives if the coach has lost the dressing room, now it still gives you, 15 weeks, 14 weeks to put something together and give your fans a little bit of spark, a little bit of hope. Same as at the Titans, we're obviously not going to win the grand final this year, but I know for a fact there are some long-time members that have said this year's the last year. They're not renewing their membership, and that's tough. These are the 11,000 people that are there yesterday are the people that just keep on turning up. They've been through all the club scandals. They've been through all the crappy results, and they just want to see a good performance week in, week out. If the coach has lost the dressing room and there's still 10 to 12 weeks worth of footy to be played, maybe you could give the fans some hope. That new coach sometimes just gives them a little spur along, the players, just that little bit of extra motivation to come good.
Yeah, and I think a lot of times too, you'll see the players react out of guilt.
Yeah.
Ultimately, a lot of times their performance or their lack of performance is what has cost the coach's job.
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of times it'll spark them and kick them into gear. And I mean, you still like to go into, any club likes to go into the following year. If the season's done and dusted, you like to go into the following year or the following pre-season having won a few games and showed a bit of promise.
For sure.
Bit of momentum. So
what about I'm trying to get on this AFL go, this AFL game. I downloaded the app on the weekend.
Did you?
I don't know, I thought you'd be proud of me. I'm really trying to get behind it for this show.
It's about time.
Followed him on Twitter as well.
Did you?
AFL.
You're all over
I'm
it.
all across it right now.
Yeah, actually so a couple of Freo beating Collingwood at the MCG. You would have seen that on the app.
Missed it.
No, you did. You
missed
didn't
that
go into the app. But yeah, Freo beat Collingwood at the MCG, which was massive win for them.
There was a particular game that I was interested in on Saturday night.
Yeah. Well, we probably needed you're obviously talking about the Crows in Melbourne.
Yeah.
We went within a kick there of the Jaffa, which we'll talk to Junior later on. But yeah.
Took me 2 hours to get out of Surfers Paradise on Saturday night, stuck in traffic. It was ridiculous. Just a little side note. Went to see Fire up there, took the kids, gridlock. This city's got to do something with its road transport. Just a little off topic.
That's good.
Political. Sort your shit out.
The Suns disappointing against GWS. They for a quarter.
Oh, I watched that game. They looked average.
Well, for the first half they looked okay, but completely faded away in the last half. And to be fair, I mean they haven't won many games this year, but they've been competitive in a lot of games.
They had a few kicks on goal at the end of that game. That really could have.
Yeah, they did. I mean, early on they were, as I say, for the first quarter they were right in it. Even right up until...
Well, that was a blowout, wasn't it, GWS? What did they,
83 points,
I'm thinking of the
85
wrong
points. Brisbane got up over Hawthorn in a big win because Hawthorn were on top early. Brisbane came back, and I was actually looking at Brisbane's draw in the next 3 or 4 weeks. They've probably got 4 winnable games, so they're pretty much a lock now to make finals, if not top 4. So
that's good.
A lot of people had them pegged for next year, being sort of making their move, but maybe they've gelled a year early and they're going to be firmly entrenched in the top 8, so it'd be good for Queensland.
On. Yeah, that's good.
The only other one was West Coast last night. I watched a bit of that game against the Bulldogs over in Perth. They probably haven't played up to their premiership form of last year, but I think last night they really looked like they started to hit some form. So
kicking into gear.
Yeah, so that's it for the AFL. Not much else to report there. Gary Ablett didn't play this week because he had his week suspension, so you'd be happy about that.
He'll be 1 week on, 1 week off for the rest of the year, I reckon. Grub. Not really. What about this? Cricket. I'm calling it. Warner and Smith, forgiven. Move on. Don't mention it again.
Well, yeah, I mean, Warner's definitely come back. Well, they both have come back and silenced the critics, but Warner the other night made a heap of runs, looked good.
I reckon
Smith was outstanding in the field. I know we saw that, but a run out and a good catch. Didn't make a heap of runs, but
I fell asleep after a while. I did try and watch it. It didn't start till 10:30.
Yeah,
it was a day nighter. That's not going to help the Australian crowds. But I watched the first 2 overs. I dead set thought Afghanistan were going to be out for 20, but they managed to put a couple of hundred on there. But I think I saw it online. Warner stayed back and signed hundreds of autographs, had selfies with the kids in the stands. So he's doing himself plenty of favours there to get back into the hearts.
I mean,
of
he's always, aside of what he's done and said over the years, he's always been a popular figure, and he plays that brand of cricket that everyone wants to see him play and likes to watch him play. So, from an Australian point of view with the World Cup on, I think you'd rather have him there than not. And same with Smith. I mean, they've probably come back at the perfect time for a tilt at the World Cup. So,
we light on for bowlers like once Cummins and Stark first change. I don't know. I dead set the Stark wicket first over, and then I thought, was it Cummins got one in his first over, and I just thought, they're just going to tear through him, and then I don't know, those guys first bowling change, and then it I don't know, we went quiet.
Yeah, time will tell. I mean, we've still got. It's actually an interesting concept now. The World Cup, they play 9 games, so there's only 10 teams in the World Cup now.
Yeah,
they play each team once, so it's changed a bit. Well, it has changed from
so
previous years.
They're not just playing in their pool; they're playing every team.
Yeah, so they play every team. So 9 games. So
I heard Ian Healy this morning say that he thinks a team could lose 3 or 4 games and still manage to make the final.
Yes, I think it's top 4. I think they go from the 9 rounds into a semi-final.
But if say Australia, England, and maybe New Zealand or something go through fairly well unbeaten, it's going to be pretty tough to make it if you lose too many.
Yeah, you wouldn't want to lose too many more than 2. But yeah, I definitely think Australia are going to be hard to beat. It'd be great to see Australia-England final over there. New Zealand will be around the mark, I would have thought. They've been a pretty good one-day side for a few years.
Yep.
But, it'll be good. Prime time viewing for the next month or so, 6 weeks.
What about this? Grandma will be happy. Ash Barty playing tonight. She's looking good at the French Open.
Into the round of 32. So
Serena's out too. So
so Ash Barty plays the American that beat Serena last round.
Yeah.
Relatively unknown, but I mean Barty will start favourite, and there's no reason why she shouldn't advance into the quarterfinals. She's playing pretty good tennis, so
that's good.
Amazing story, that one. Like, she was playing cricket she'd given the game away 2 years ago, maybe 18 months ago, at the age of whatever she was then, 21, 22.
Yeah.
Just lost the interest for tennis, and now she's come back and she's in the top 10 already and won a tournament this year.
An Australian we can get behind.
That's right.
No tantrums, just quality.
And, you know, the good timing too, because she's past her prime now and on her way out. So from a Australian women's tennis point of view, and Jordan Thompson in the men went fairly deep too. He got knocked out in the fourth round by Del Potro, but showed some good form during the tournament. So it's good not to have to follow Kyrgios and Tomic.
Big upset in the boxing over the weekend.
I did see that, yeah.
That has got to
Looked
be
like you in the ring, the big fella.
easy. I'm fitter than that bloke.
Oh.
Let's not be silly. Biggest upset, I reckon, since Buster Douglas beat Mike Tyson in his prime. It was huge.
The Mexican, the guy that beat him?
American-Mexican, they're saying, yeah. Just phenomenal.
Yeah, it was a good win.
It was just like a story out of Rocky. Like it was like Apollo Creed.
It wasn't one of those ones where he just happens to fluke a punch either. Like he was all over him there for a
Third round, he knocked him down a couple of times.
Yeah. He looked like he was the better boxer, and
I heard this afternoon Joshua was that confident he didn't even have a rematch clause. So he's just lost. They've just lost all of his belts. I like it. The drama, the heavyweight division was real boring there for a few years. The Klitschko brothers just had it sewn up. Everyone had lost interest. Now all of a sudden you've got, you had three guys that everybody thought were like, vying for that top position. You got Fury, you got Wilder, and Joshua now. Old mate's just come out of nowhere, claimed up 4 belts, and sitting there with on top of the world. I love it. One for the fatties. I think it's good.
What was your name? What was your name in the ring?
I don't think we should go into that, do we?
Yeah, we should put the video up one day for the viewers.
Double barrel.
Double barrel.
Yeah. Double barrel.
You had a pretty good career.
Yeah.
0-1.
0-2.
0-2.
Actually, yeah. Yep. I was robbed in the first fight. I'll say that. I'm not afraid to say that.
Who was the first one against? DUI?
No, it was against Channel 9. Guy from Channel 9. I was supposed to go on, one of those current affairs
videos.
Well, let's move on. Golf.
Golf, yeah. We nearly had an Aussie victory this morning. Scotty got within, he ran second. He probably never really.
Just a cool filet mignon.
Yeah, I think it was just under $1 million prize money for runner-up. So
that's so good.
4 days. Pretty good pay for 4 days. But Patrick Cantlay, good story there. He actually, so this was Jack Nicklaus's tournament. Jack has actually taken him under the wing. He won, Jack gives out an award for the best college player, and Cantlay won it, 8, 9, 10 years ago. And since that day, Jack sort of mentored him a bit and tried to help him and guide him along. And there's actually a story that Nicklaus sat down with him earlier this year or late last year. Cantlay had a few chances to win, couldn't get it done. And Nicklaus actually pulled him aside one day and had a few words to him and I guess tried to help him get over that hurdle of winning a tournament. And so they come this week here and it's Jack's tournament. Jack's the host. Jack's there on the 18th green to greet every player when they finish. And Cantlay basically was 6-7 holes to go, and he'd got in front and managed to hold on. And
massive final round.
He had 64 in the last day.
Scotty had a great final round in his own right, but just
Cantlay I think he was 5 behind starting the last day, but I guess the pleasing thing from his point of view is he got to the lead with 5 or 6 holes to go, and what Nicklaus had tried to, I guess, mentor him. No, I'm right, mate.
You are giving it, Timmy. Just drink it on my own again. Now that's good.
I love I'm with you.
How's the peer pressure? He folds. It's real quick.
What Nicklaus had, I guess, told him to do or tried to help him to do, he managed to do it at Jack's tournament. So that was a pretty cool story. Wasn't cool for Adam, but cool for Cantlay.
Looks good for Scotty, though. He's been there or thereabouts in a lot of tournaments this year, so he's having a good year.
Yeah, he is. He's, I'm probably a bit biased, but I think he's swinging and playing better than he has for a long time. His putting, statistically, is trending in the right direction. He's having less bad putting rounds than in previous. So the US Open, they got the Canadian Open this week, which Adam's not playing, but then next week the US Open at Pebble Beach, so that'll be pretty cool.
And then when's the British Open?
British Open will be middle of July sometime.
I've got a little story for you there. We'll talk about that off air. Yeah, good.
Yeah, so that was it for the golf this week.
What about Liverpool? My new footy team.
I actually, I'll tell you a story. I'm not a huge soccer follower, but I actually got up on Sunday morning early to try and watch the game and could not find it.
You stole my notes. That's what I looked Saturday night, to be honest, because I was like, I'm not getting out of bed until I know what channel this is going to be on. I pay for Fox. I thought, I'll find it. It'll either be on one of the channels. It'll be on ESPN, La Liga, nothing. There's normally half a dozen soccer channels there, nothing. So, yes, me as well, not a soccer fan, was going to get up, watch that game because it's so big, and then Optus, no good. I'm not paying for another.
It was not on Foxtel.
It wasn't on SBS, wasn't on Foxtel, wasn't on any of the footy channels, wasn't on ESPN.
Well, if it was
arguably the biggest game of
wow.
football of any code for the year, other than maybe the Super Bowl.
Maybe if people actually followed soccer, it might be on.
Told you it's not
mainstream Foxtel.
I'm worried this sport's not going to kick off. I was going to get on board.
I actually saw a video. I think it was on Instagram or one of the socials of a guy I follow, and he went to the casino and watched it.
I think that's where all the fans were.
And the casino was absolutely packed in the new sports bar there.
So we were supposed to have Jolie.
The atmosphere looked awesome.
We were supposed to have Jolie on from the Broadbeach Soccer Club tonight.
Still on the drink.
So you're saying people at the casino in the morning to watch
it? Was
it?
a 5 o'clock or 5:30 kickoff.
Yeah, I know. My son woke me up to watch it.
And the casino was absolutely packed.
I couldn't watch it either.
Jolie was supposed to be on the show tonight, and basically he's 2 days into a bender, and he's lost his voice, and we couldn't get hold of him. So thanks for letting us down, Joel. Your soccer game's never going to kick on, but I was really keen to play some of that. The song.
I'll just check my phone. I've just got a message from a mate in Sydney. So I touched on that video earlier.
Yeah.
So it looks like the
stop it.
Main man in the video.
Integrity Committee.
According to old Cleansy in Sydney.
What's the bet? The Integrity Committee can't come together until after the Origin game to make a decision. Bet you they don't do anything about it.
Yeah, sorry. Go on.
Can't remember what I was talking about. You lost me.
Soccer.
Yeah, it'll never catch on.
Next.
But I'm on the bandwagon.
Did you see the NBA this morning?
No, I didn't, mate.
2?
Some people have real jobs. I'd missed it.
Yeah.
It's 1-1. 1-1. Is that the end of the Raptors? Are they done now?
Well, yeah, I mean, obviously go back to Golden State for the next 2 games now, so...
I know a bloke that's got money on the Raptors to win the series too.
Yeah.
He was pretty happy with himself after game 1.
But there was some method behind my madness. I thought potentially, and Toronto probably should have won today. They led for most of the game. The Warriors came back late in the game, but I actually thought Toronto could go to Golden State 2-0.
Yeah.
In which case my plan was to then go back and back the Warriors on the other side. Hasn't quite turned out like that. I haven't had a look at the odds, but I'd imagine Warriors will now be...
They'll come in pretty strong.
Yeah, they'd be back to pretty short favourites. Probably going to go 3-1 up before they come back to Toronto. So,
what else? I feel like we've missed some stuff tonight. Do you want to see if we can get the Jaffa on the phone?
What about the tennis? Just quickly, Nadal going for 12 in a row. 12, not 12 in a row, but 12th French Open.
It's not bad.
Unbelievable.
Oh, shit.
Malfunction with the phone. 12, like, you think Kelly Slater's won 11 world titles, and that's unbelievable. But
he's only won 12 tennis tournaments.
Yeah, but Kelly's the same tournament 12 times.
Yeah, but Kelly's won world titles. So, like, complete seasons.
Yeah, but to win that sort of number of anything is...
I think John's looking the goods over in Margaret River. Hopefully he didn't go out
there on the weekend.
Pretty brutal. Whew, the box.
It was massive on Sunday.
Good to go, Timmy.
Just dialing in now.
Junior.
So, yeah, rough weekend. So, what did we need? We needed the Crows. They just couldn't get the job done. They didn't look like winning, to be honest. We were lucky to. We were lucky to win.
But if the game went another 5 minutes, they were all over him.
Hi, you've reached.
Oh, no.
Junior stood us up.
He's brushed you.
Wow. Do you know what his bet was this week?
No, I don't. We might need to come back to that.
They call this padding in the business. Might have to go and see if we can find another topic.
Hang on, we've got a call coming in. Here we go.
Hello?
Hey, boys.
Junior.
Oh, Junior.
What were you just
How
doing?
you going?
You're doing a bit of last-minute study when we rang.
Sorry about that. Yeah, got a bit distracted this afternoon. Anyway.
Yeah, hey, mate. What are you up to?
Good, boys. Down in South, actually, this week in lovely Lismore.
Beautiful Lismore, down near Big Timmy's area.
Yeah. So, down there.
Bit of
It's
work
going
down there, mate.
Yeah, a bit of work. How was the week?
Well, it would have been better if the Crows game went for another 5 or 6 minutes.
I couldn't believe that if they played like that for another half a quarter, we were well and truly home. What did make me feel better is the bloke that had 25,000 on the line, the Crows. So
yeah, it makes our 190 soften the blow a little bit.
That's true. And we've got a loyal listener who rang me today. I won't mention his name because he said he didn't want his wife to know that how much he had on the Crows head to head.
Gamblers Anonymous.
Yeah. He had a fair go at the Crows. He didn't take the line. It was a mistake, a good mistake. And he has put up the 100 for next week, boys.
That's a relief.
Beautiful.
Well, do you know what
terrific.
Do you know what annoyed me about the Crows? They didn't even know. It's like they didn't even know we had money on it, because once they got in front, they started kicking it behind and kicking it round. Keep the ball away. It's like, come on, boys, we needed 2 more goals.
Only 1 more goal.
No, we were 7. Oh, a goal and a kick, wasn't it? We were like 7 or 8.
Yeah. Anyway, whatever it was. There wasn't much in it, Junior. As I said to you Saturday, just before I put the bet on, the Crows had been backed off the map. There was a big goal on them.
Yep.
They got the job done for a win, but didn't get the job done for us, unfortunately.
No.
You can't win them all, Junior.
That's right. So we'll use our loyal listeners 100 this week, boys, and we'll stick with the AFL.
Hope you got another loyal listener for next week.
We'll just keep going. We'll keep finding them. At least people are listening. It's true.
That's good.
I'm getting phone calls, boys. It's growing. This week the AFL again. It's a tricky one. The NRL, I stay clear because you're just not sure who's going to back up after
It is an
Origin.
absolute minefield, isn't it? I was thinking about that today. There's no way you could make a bet today, depending on one of this weekend's games.
Yeah. So, nightmare, absolute nightmare. And even the form lines out of the weekend and the split round and people having the week off. So, stay clear of that. We're going to head to the AFL again. It's just trying to find a margin where, a slightly smaller margin, where we've got, a relatively short price favourite against someone with a short enough margin. So we found one with the Swans versus the Eagles. The Eagles are dominant on Sunday, so they travel to Sydney, and I think they get up to that game. I think the two sides sort of probably go another level. I think the Eagles are flying. So there's a really short margin there at 6.5. So the Eagles minus 6.5 at $1.90. I reckon is a good bet this week, boys, on Sunday.
They've always been traditional rivals, those two, haven't they? Going back to obviously grand finals a couple of years ago, and it's always been a fairly close game between those two. So
I thought for sure you were going to say the Blues, actually.
The Blues, they might have
surely
a team.
that'd be good value this
week. They won't
week.
have a coach, but they might have a team. But no, I like that one, Junior. Eagles, I think I actually mentioned earlier in the show, I reckon yesterday they showed the premiership form from last year. I reckon they're about to hit their straps.
Yep. Yeah, on all the reviews today, everyone's saying that, that's probably they're hitting their straps. It's taken them a while. And, they I don't think the travel will affect them too much because they'll get up to that game. I think there's a bit of a rivalry between the two. And the margin was, 6.5.
Six and a half
minus
points.
6.5. So
Right.
yeah, that's,
We'll have the loyal listener 100 on that one, eh?
yeah. So I'll take care of that, boys. I'd love to mention his name, but I won't because we're getting cold. We'll be on that and hopefully kick off again.
Just quickly,
and what
Junior,
it was
anything for have you had a look at the Stradbroke?
Actually, I was just looking this afternoon. Time got better than me today, but what I was thinking is maybe we can throw it up on the social media pages.
Yeah, maybe we'll give a tip later in the week.
Yeah, righto.
Yeah, because there's a few good options there. We had a couple of mates out at Oaks Day, so it was great out there, and have given me a few to follow for this weekend to Straddy. So maybe we chuck those up.
Yeah, we'll put them up on the socials later in the week.
Righto. Hashtag Juniors Jaffa. Hashtag gamble responsibly. We'll hopefully this time next week we'll have another 190 and we'll be on the way to the 1,000 for North Burleigh Surf Club. Who are going to start coming knocking on my door.
Yeah, feel bad. We'll get there.
I might have to change clubs. This could be a rough summer.
Maybe we go to 500.
We'll be right. We'll get there.
All good.
We'll get there. Too easy.
Righto,
Talk to you
Junior.
next week.
Thanks, boys.
See you, mate.
Bye.
Oh, do you know what? I nearly forgot the science update this week. What do you got for us, Timmy?
Well, this will be right up your alley,
There we go.
Stay with us, Dylan.
mate. So what
I have it on good authority that the science update is everybody's favourite section of our show.
I think so.
Who said that,
How
Mum?
could it not be?
Mumsy. No,
So,
Mum loves a punt.
the exciting news the last few weeks is NASA have released, or they've released a couple of weird little videos, but they've announced that they're going back to the moon. Back to the moon
Yay.
in the next 5 years, which is massive. So what they've said is not only are they going back, and it's not just an announcement to say, yeah, we're going to be going back to the moon.
We're not going back, mate. We've never been there.
They're going back to plant the evidence.
If they don't find
Quick.
a flag,
We think we can finally get there. So they're actually going back, and they've already awarded 3 contracts to 3 American rocket companies in the vicinity of, there are 3 different prices, but the vicinity between $80 and $100 million each to actually launch. So what they're doing over the next 5 years is actually sending over the infrastructure. So the idea is they're actually going to have a satellite, like a space station, similar to the
I've seen
International
this
Space
movie,
Station.
Independence Day. They're going to have a big laser up there.
Well, they're going to have, so basically there's going to be a space station that orbits the moon, and they will be having astronauts based on the moon. They're going to be mining materials. They're going to be actually, so they've known, in 2009 they discovered just vast areas of ice. So
On the moon?
on the
I
moon.
didn't know there was water on the
Yeah,
moon.
it was not water that's frozen.
Ice.
It's ice.
Same thing.
So the idea is that obviously they could, out of that, they could filter for water,
Yep.
oxygen, and then the hydrogen, so they could separate oxygen and hydrogen, so hydrogen for rocket fuel. So in future, they'll be using it as a station to launch, say, the Mars mission. So the idea is that within 5 years, we've got a man or woman, or both, actually based in a station on the moon. So it's they're going to have relaunchable crafts. But 3 contracts already awarded, so it's actually it's happening. It's not
I saw
an envision. It's which I think is pretty
I
exciting.
saw 60 Minutes last night. They had the forgotten astronaut on there, Michael Collins, is it? So it's nearly 50 years since we went. So we allegedly went to the moon first time.
Allegedly. How did he have
Dylan's
to say?
got no idea what we're talking about. He's like, what? There's a moon?
I'm just trying to stay awake.
There is a moon. That's pretty exciting.
No,
That's,
that is cool.
That's
That's
a big
pretty cool.
thing.
I do
So
like that.
What the
That's
idea?
better than every other science update.
Well,
you've
there
done.
it is. See, the idea is that they want to have,
Is the moon flat as well?
The moon
Is it a
not-
disc?
The moon's definitely round. I'll let me see that.
We only ever see one side of it, so it might just be a flat circle.
But I think it's pretty cool because
See how he
that-
laughs that away? Like it's like, don't disregard me, bro. Like,
the flat earthers, no moon conspiracy
why do we never see
theorists.
the other side of the moon? Why do we never see the dark side of the moon?
I don't know. You tell me. Why don't we see?
It's flat.
Yeah, definitely. But the idea is, so we're looking at mining. So they're looking at so space. It's mining.
So
planets.
we've done enough damage to Earth. Now they want to wreck the moon as well.
Well, and why stop there? Mars, keep going.
What if they start mining it and they realise it's hollow inside? It crumples under the weight of space,
Well,
and
I
then
think
all of
that's
our oceans
impossible.
go haywire.
I think we know the mass of the
Do
moon
we?
that causes tides. So we realise that
Do
there's
we?
actually mass inside the moon.
Maybe.
But I've had actually, and you wait, Dylan, in a couple of weeks. I think it's the 19th of July. Let me have a quick look. I'm looking this up. Wednesday, the 19th of July, I'll be going to see Brian Cox,
Oh, I want a full rundown on that.
the astrophysicist, do a talk in Brisbane. So he's coming out all the way from England. And
Follow
he's
him
doing
online. He's really good.
Yeah.
amazing.
Yeah. I'm sure I will.
So that
be a
next
good
Monday,
night.
it's going to be exciting.
Can't wait. What date's that?
Wednesday, Wednesday the 19th. Why is that?
I'll mark it in my diary.
Put it in your calendar.
I think I'll be away on that Monday.
So that'll be good.
Righto. Is that all we got? Did we miss anything?
I think that's a wrap.
Oh, James Roberts. We called that on the show. We called that weeks and weeks ago.
Well, I don't think we were the only ones, but
I don't know.
it's been coming for a while. Speaking of ex-NRL players, I had a note here, and your old mate, Jared Hayne, I read on the weekend that he signed to play soccer,
I don't want to talk about that wanker.
grade soccer down the Central Coast somewhere.
Publicity stunt.
Well, I don't know the reason behind it, but he's actually legitimately signed with a club in Gosford or somewhere down the Central Coast.
Him and Ben Barber are having an All-Stars game against each other.
Yeah, so see, Barber's been in the news again. There was a video released last week of him being arrested.
Really?
Don't know whether you saw that, but being arrested again, obstructing police and carrying on like a pork chop. So
It's all happening in the world of
Jared
sport.
Hayne, trying what's that about his 12th sport now he's had a go at.
I have a dream.
I think that's a wrap, Brad.
Righto. Thanks for listening. As always, please join us on the socials at Beers and Banter. Please follow Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, podcast app, Spotify. Get amongst it. Please share it. And we appreciate your support.
Over and out.
Over and out.